of the original founding members of the Dramatics, Mr. Ron Banks. How are you, Mr. Banks?
I'm doing fine, DP. How you doing?
Good, good. Hey, man, he's a legend in his own time. You know, we owe so much to this young man here, you know, who's kept the Dramatics going for so many years. Welcome aboard, and what would you like to say to all the people who love the Dramatics?
Oh, man, it's been a great trip. I thank you for all the years that we spent together. The great times, the good and the bad and the ugly. And it's always been something special, our relationship with our friends and fans. It's just done like the dramatic way. It's kind of up close and personal. We got some crazy fans.
Right. I also hear that, you know, you guys have been called rebels. You say the Dramatics are kind of like rebels. They kind of sometimes, you know, no offense, go against the, you know, grain rather than always being, you know, cooperative or not cooperative, but just kind of like go this way.
We always wanted to make certain that it was done. We're from Detroit, and we kind of like come with no chaser.
Okay.
And we just try to make certain it's done the right way, you know. Not with a lot of makeup or a lot of the, what they said. We were blessed throughout our early years to be raised by some great people from many different walks of life, and which helped us in our as we matured into the industry to where we could survive, or we were taught how to enjoy, how to respect people, not just because a person doesn't have to know you because you made a million seller. She may be the million and one that didn't have a record.
That's right.
So we were kind of raised just to stay on top of our mental approach to the industry and to our respect one another and all our friends and fans.
And what year did you guys start the group originally?
I cut my first record in 1963.
1963?
Yeah.
What was the name of that?
No, it's 1964 I cut the record. We started in 63. And the first record was called Bingo, and the other side was Somewhere. And it was a neighborhood smash.
Right. What label was it on?
Wingate.
Okay.
It's a record company that started in Detroit, Michigan, that was headed by Joanne Braden, and the owner was Mr. Ed Wingate. And it became so big in Detroit that Motown, because they were so huge at the time, actually had to buy them out, because as Berry Gordy would put it, this town is not big enough for both of us.
Right.
So they had some great talent that eventually became very big in the industry. The Parliament, George Clinton. The girls ended up being Dawn with Tony Orlando. The Royal Jokers, Edwin Starr, J.J. Barnes. What happened too was Holland Dozier and Holland had left Motown at one time, and a lot of the artists went over there with them. The Eighth Day, Steve Manchin, and Pat Lewis, and them ended up being Hot Butter and Soul behind Isaac Hayes. It was a stable of some great acts, and we were given an opportunity to do what we love to do.
What label did you feel, out of all the music labels that you work with, which one you felt did the best work for the Dramatics?
I think all of them. First of all, for the opportunity. With our first million seller being in 1971, after we had been running the streets of Detroit for years, with What You See Is What You Get and In the Rain, with Stax Records, which was the black alternative in the music industry for Motown.
And if you had to name 3 or 4 people that was very responsible for the success of the Dramatics, or when you guys first started, with who 3 or 4 people, or who would you name as being very responsible?
Definitely Joanne Braden and Ed Wingate for the opportunity to initially start dealing with it professionally. Then I would probably say a gentleman named Andre Williams, who kept us focused even after Barry had purchased it. Then we would go into like maybe a Forrest Hamilton, who became our manager, that was working with Isaac Hayes at the time. Then probably Otis Smith and ABC Records. When we finally got with them, we were with a major that was accepted extremely well in the music industry, not only domestically but abroad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's Mr. Ron Banks. We know he has to get ready for the show. We don't want to take up all this time.
I compliment you because you finally got us, huh?
He raised me well, ladies and gentlemen. This man has raised me very, very well. The legendary Ron Banks at Soul Concerts, produced by Mr. L.J. Reynolds and Mr. Ron Banks and Soul Concerts. Enjoy the show.
Much love and respect to you, and I thank you so much for the great years.
There he is, ladies and gentlemen, Ron Banks. Thank you. Hello. My name is Daryl Payne from Soul Concerts, and it brings us great pleasure to finally bring, after 3 years of trying to bring this wonderful group from Detroit on board, the legendary Dramatics, featuring L.J. Reynolds and Mr. Ron Banks. Thanks for coming on board with us. We really appreciate it. And how's everything going?
Everything's going great. You know, we're glad to be here. You know, we've seen a lot of your shows, and we've watched it on commercials, and I have the DVDs myself. And I will say that I'm very proud of you and Soul Concerts for what you're doing, and I knew that we needed to be a part of it. So glad to be here.
We're glad to have you. So I understand you have a brand new gospel CD?
Sure. My gospel CD is called The Message. It's released April the 29th. It features my new single, You Can Make It, which I performed tonight. Sunday also, this is my second total gospel CD. Gospel music is not something new for me. I've been doing gospel since I was 6 years old in the projects. My first gospel project was Tomorrow by the Winings. My second one was The Days of Yea and Nay. And my first gospel total CD was called Through the Storm, which featured a duet with Gladys Knight.
Wow. Who are the producers on this project?
I produced the album, and my co-producers were Mike Powell, who produced Anita Baker, a lot of Anita Baker hit records, along with a lot of gospel songs that he produced through the years, and also Mike Mendigal.
What are some of the songs for tonight's show that we can look forward to seeing on tonight's show?
With the Dramatics? Well, we're going to start at the beginning. We're going to start with What You See Is What You Get in the Rain, work ourselves over onto Get Off My Mountain, Fell For You, Me and Mrs. Jones, Be My Girl, Can't Get Over You, Stars in Your Eyes, It Ain't Raining on Nobody's House. Well, we're going to do it all. So we got 38 top 10 singles.
Unbelievable.
Thanks to people like you and your listeners, and that we're going to try to put into the show tonight.
What is your all-time favorite #1 dramatic song?
You know, I don't have an all-time favorite dramatic song. I kind of like them all, but you know, I wrote a song called Stop Your Weeping. So you know that's got to be one of my favorites. And you know, Daughter Your Heart, Can't Get Over You, and Me and Mrs. Jones, and In the Rain. I guess, you know, I could sit here and just keep talking till I get to 38 of them.
And by the way, you know, in Chicago, Detroit, you know, stepping was one of the hottest dances for many, many years, and you have probably the #1 classic steppers record of all time.
That's on my solo career. That's Key to the World. So I did that. I had left the Dramatics for probably around about 10 years. When I embarked upon a solo career, which I had Key to the World and Touchdown, which was number 17 on the R&B charts. So I had a great ride. You know, it's just a great time, and just looking forward to staying out here and getting in your DVD and just letting the Dramatics stay out here in the business.
And what is the key to the longevity of the Dramatics and L.J. Reynolds and Ron Banks?
Work, work, work. You got to always work. You know, I see a lot of people, they say, well, I had the opportunity to do something, but they wouldn't give me this, or they wouldn't give me that. Well, you know, you have to get in order to stay in. So the key is to stay out there and to stay active and to tour a lot and to try to make good deals and try to make smart deals, and that's the way it works.
How could you give advice, or what would you say to up-and-coming singers? What would they need to do to make it in this business?
Well, one thing you have to do is you have to be persistent. See, you have to get up every day and just try to get through the door. That's the whole key. You know, there's a lot of ways of getting across the street. You know, you can cross the street, walk in the middle of the street, or you can go around the intersection. You have to find what's right for you and keep knocking on doors.
I noticed a lot of times there's resistancy from a lot of the radio stations to play classic soul artists with today's programmers. How do you envision going about getting through a lot of the red tape? I mean, what do you think needs to happen?
You talking about classic artists trying to record records today?
Right, trying to make records today. And what do you think about that?
Well, you know, again, we work with, strange thing about us is we had the opportunity to work with people like Snoop Dogg, Coolio, Ice-T. Matter of fact, Jay-Z used us on his last album, American Gangsters. He used that. Beyonce them used Oceans of Thoughts and Dreams. So we got a concept of what's current right now. You have to still be yourself, but you have to cut today's type of music. And basically, a lot of people say, well, listen, you know, y'all old school, so don't try to be too up to date.
Right.
Well, you know, again, you have to be up to date. Technology is different, so you have to be up to date in order to get your records played on the radio, and that's what we're pursuing now.
And who are your top 5 favorite singers of all time that you admire?
James Brown, top 5, Aretha Franklin. Let me see, we got James Brown, Aretha Franklin. You know, I got a lot of, Jackie Wilson, you know, I like the old singers. People like that.
And do you see the group going overseas anytime soon to tour?
Well, we've toured overseas several times. We've been to Japan. Arigato gozaimasu. Konnichiwa. Sasito isaraga haita. And we toured Japan a lot through the years, through our careers, and we've been to England and France. As a matter of fact, we just got an offer to go to Japan again, so we're looking forward to going to Japan and touring the whole country, you know.
That's great. And some of the groups that the Dramatics pattern themselves after, who would you say you guys looked up to or really tried to pattern your style?
Oh, the Temptations.
Temptations.
You know, I was listening to the Temptations when I was a kid, you know, and I just really liked the Temptations a lot. And finally, I got to meet them and know them as friends. And later we talked about, we used to sit together with the Temps and sing. So yeah, I'd have to say the Temptations.
And how far did the Dramatics, the area of the neighborhood you lived in, how far was that from where the Temptations grew up?
From where they lived?
Yeah.
Well, we all right there together.
Wow.
You know, I mean, Detroit is only so big. And most entertainers in Detroit, you know, like Aretha, Anita Baker, the Temptations were there, Marvin Gaye. We kind of all were in the same clique. So we hung out.
And what are some of the groups that the Dramatics love to be on tour with? Because I know sometimes you have your favorite groups, there are certain packages.
The OJs.
The OJs.
I love the OJs. I love the Dales. I love the Stylistics. I love the Shy-Lights. You know, hopefully I didn't miss anybody, but the Blue Notes and the Isley Brothers. You know, just a lot of the. You know, we made a lot of friends out here. We were with the Impressions.
Really?
Last week, and that to me was something special, you know. And that's a different era for us. The Impressions come from the 50s and the 60s, and we come from the 70s and the 80s and the 90s. And so it was just great to be with them.
And for the record, the Dramatics are certainly one of the few groups that had a way with doing great up-tempo songs, and you guys can be really up-tempo and funky, then come down and really croon and make all that baby-making music. I mean, you guys have been known to increase the population.
Yeah, I had to pay a few supports myself.
Now, who's responsible for all the babies growing up? Is that part of you? You had part of that doing there?
What, the baby making?
Yeah, baby making. You know, as far as helping increase the population with the love songs.
I think so. I think it did lift something for me too. You know, my daughter just turned 18, my youngest daughter.
Okay.
And my son is 19, and they're getting ready to go to college. Now, this is another generation of my family because my daughter, my oldest daughter, who is in her 30s. Now, I'm 56 years old and proud to say it. My daughter's in her 30s, and she's performing with me on the new gospel CD. Matter of fact, my whole family, 3 generations of my family, is singing on this project.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, if there's anything you would like to say that people should hear, I mean, the Dramatics are one of the top all-time favorite groups, chart-breaking, and it's just a pleasure to work with you and to give us the opportunity to present, with you, to the world. I mean, one of the most best groups of all time.
I just want to say thanks for the support from all the people and all the fans throughout the country, and I'd like to thank all the radio personalities and TV personalities like yourself for keeping us out here. And so we just hope that you guys will enjoy the Dramatics Live DVD on Soul Concerts. So thank you so much.
We want to once again thank Mr. L.J. Reynolds for his time, and please enjoy the show, sit back and relax, and here comes the Dramatics. Thank you very much.
Coming at you.
Coming at you all the way live. Thanks. Hello everybody, we would like to present to you the bass singer, one of the greatest bass singers that ever lived in our time in classic soul music, Mr. Willie Sugar Bear Ford.
Well,
how are
thank you?
How are you
fine,
today?
I'm blessed. Glad to be here.
It's great to finally have you guys on board.
Fantastic.
I want you to know that we get so many requests, for you as as a bass singer, and people are thrilled to hear your voice. You're one of the everybody's favorite dramatic. People love your rendition of Me and Mrs. Jones, and who are some of your influences musically or vocally?
Well, quite naturally, the Temptations. We had the fortunate availability of growing up in Motown in Detroit, Michigan, and as a matter of fact, I was managed by Smokey Robinson when I was in high school. His nephew and I sang together in a young group, and we used to do talent shows, and just grew up around that, and it just enhanced, it just grabbed a hold of me, and it's all I ever wanted to do in life. So it was like a dream that came true.
How do you feel about the travel? You've been traveling many years with the group. How do you feel about touring and compared to now to how it used to be years ago?
Well, it's changed now that we got about 35, 36 years under our belt. It's a little different and a little more difficult. I mean, we don't have the bodies that we used to have. But I love it, and we all love it. I can speak for the group to say that we all love it, because to be doing this for that many years, you got to love it.
That's right. Who arranges the harmony, the background vocals?
Well, we all have input, but basically Ron, LJ, Wenzel, everybody has input into doing the backgrounds. Michael Brock also.
Okay. So what do you see for the future this year?
Well, we have recently started doing a new CD. We also have some commitments for extensive tours coming up this year. We're working on a movie, a book. So it's a lot of things that we have in the fire, a lot of irons that we have in the fire to continue on. And we like to say thank you for all the support that we've been given down through the years, and hopefully that we can bring some more good listening music to the people of this area.
What would you say your strongest dramatic song, or your favorite dramatic song of all time? What would you say that would be?
Well, my favorite dramatic song is What You See Is What You Get. That was the first recording I did with the Dramatics back in 1971. And I used to have dreams of grandeur and just big dreams, and when it became a million seller, it just blew my mind, and from there on, it's been my favorite.
What are some of the favorite cities that you think the Dramatics are most popular?
Oh man, we have so many good cities in America: Chicago, Los Angeles, Atlanta, St. Louis, Cleveland, Ohio, Washington, D.C. The Dramatics have been known for their live shows. People really like to see us live because they feel like that we deliver what they get on record. And we just have that, we have that special thing about our live show. And it's been fortunate for us to have this in our lives, because we haven't really had a hit record, and wow, it's been a while. But the hits that we have had has withstood the test of time. We've had 36 top 10 hits, and we recorded maybe 2 albums a year for about 12 years straight. So we had a nice run. We have a very large catalog.
And who are some of the popular producers that Dramatics have worked with over the years?
Well, my favorite was Tony Hester, which did the What You See Is What You Get album, the Dramatic Experience album. Ron and LJ has produced, along with Wenzel Kelly, has produced some things. Mr. Don Davis, he has produced back in the early days.
And who discovered the Dramatics initially?
Well, who discovered the Dramatics?
First big break for the Dramatics, you think happened when?
The first big break for the Dramatics came back in 1968 when Don Davis and hooked the Dramatics up with Tony Hester, who wrote What You See Is What You Get and In the Rain. And I have to say that he was responsible for the Dramatics being put on the map.
And your first big tour that you guys went out with, who was the group on tour with you? Or the
James Brown. We did the James Brown tour with the Stylistics. The Stylistics, I think they had out Stop, Look, and Listen, and we had out What You See Is What You Get. And we traveled with James Brown for about 18 months straight. And it was a great learning experience.
And if you had to name your 5 all-time bass singers, we asked LJ this, but with respect to bass singers, who would you say are your top 5 bass singers of all time?
5?
Aside from yourself.
Well, I would have to say Melvin Franklin with the Temptations. I would have to say Warren Harris. He was the bass singer for the Monitors out of Motown. I'd have to say Chuck Barksdale. And I have to say, his name is Skip. He's a legend.
See, when I hear your voice, you have a lot of Brooke Benton, and the Brooke Benton sound.
Brooke Benton
I hear that tone a little
yeah,
bit
Brooke
sometimes.
Benton, but Brooke wasn't really a bass singer.
That's right.
Paul Robeson. Nah,
There's the answer. We knew it was coming.
Singer.
We knew it was coming sooner or later.
Yeah.
Paul Robeson.
Now he was the great bass singer.
Okay.
And all the people that I've named as some of my favorites, he was their idol.
I heard it back in the day. I heard the Dramatics had women all over the place, and they loved the ladies, and the girls were screaming and hollering. And is there any truth to that rumor?
Well, let me tell you something. The recordings that we made was it was love music.
Okay.
And we did have a great following of women, and we've had our share. But that was a long time ago.
Well, we won't tell nobody about that.
We don't have to tell
No,
nobody
we won't talk
about
about that.
But
That's
it's all good.
All right, but ladies and gentlemen, there he is, Sugar Bear Willie Ford, the best bass singer on the planet Earth.
Well, thank you very
And
much.
we thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. We're sitting here with the legendary Mr. William Hart. He's a legend. He's had so many hit records over the years, and he's a soul legend. Welcome.
Oh man, I'm happy to be called. I'm happy to be around to be a legend. You know, and I'm glad there are people out there like yourself that can reach back and bring us back into the picture and help us get the props that we are due. You know, I had a yellow Fleetwood. I couldn't hear it. Tight. I had velvet inside. It was, I mean, I had it really done up, and I'm cruising down, going back to Philadelphia. Boom! And the cops pulled up beside me, and all I could see was the lights because I couldn't hear it because I had my music blasting inside the car. So I pulled over, and he said to me, he said, I think the speed limit was 75. He said, you was doing like 90. I said, 90? I said, I didn't know that. I said, I tell you, maybe you could give this ticket to General Motors because I paid over $30,000 for this car. And I said, no, if it's illegal, the ticket should go to them.
That's right.
I don't think they should put cars out on the street that break the speed limit.
That's right.
So,
that's a good thought.
And so I say, I think it's putting the public in real jeopardy. And the guy said, damn, I never thought of that. I said, probably. I said, you go and look at your car. Your car probably breaks the speed limit. And he said, go ahead. he thought about it, you know. I find it kind of to be a dilemma that's not really needed. You don't need a cops down to wait for you to break the speed limit. I think the only cars that should go faster than the speed limit should be official cars. That's my personal belief. You know?
That's good.
I don't think that we should be able to break the law with a car that I paid $30,000 for. You know what I mean? You know, I can step the gas all the way down. Whomp! It shouldn't go no faster than the speed limit, right?
I think we should change that law.
I think we should.
I think we should.
I think we should.
You want to call Mr. President or should I
We'll call Mr. President and say, let's
I
make
think that's
America a lot
very
more
nice.
safer.
That's right.
Here, a lot less accidents.
That's right. How did the Delfonics start? And what do you think the keys to your success? I mean, what's the main reason for the Delfonics being successful?
Clean music. Clean music. Believe it or not, and beautiful lyrics. Songs that you could bring your children to listen to, your mother to listen to. Songs that don't have to be considered gospel or spiritual, but songs that even God would smile and say, "Job well done."
Interesting.
And that was my policy when I wrote songs. I always wrote songs where I really critiqued the lyrics. That's why I'm very sensitive to other writers writing songs for me, because I know they may not think the way I think, and I've been pretty successful with this method of writing, and I've having 18 million sellers. So that has a lot to do with the success of the Delfonics, because without a song there's no group,
No question.
and without a song there's no artist. And there's so many artists that can sing. There's so many beautiful artists out here that is waiting their turn. You have to understand the mathematical structure of life. You have to know that the best is yet to come. And those that are not yet present are due to come. So you try to lay an example for them, and the Delfonics is stuck on trying to leave a clean example, a beautiful, finesseful, elegant example.
How did you start the group?
Well, I first I was listening to Lil Anthony, not Anthony at first, but I was listening to Frankie Lyman first, and then I listened to Lil Anthony. Then I listened to the orchestration of Burt Bacharach.
Wow.
Then I knew I could sing. I always could sing since I realized I could sing when I was 11 years old, when I could sing Frankie Lyman's songs. Then I thought, well, I could sing his songs pretty good. I never said it to myself that I think I'm better than him, because it becomes competition then. And music really isn't a competition thing. Music is beautiful. The musicians should be able to gel with one another in a very peaceful manner. For instance, if one of my drummers left his cymbals and your drummer was on stage, and I asked you, well, listen, my drummer left his cymbal back in Philly. We use your cymbals. And it was like back in the day was, sure, go ahead. Use the whole band if you want to.
Now they might steal your drum set, right?
Now these days, they're pretty tough today. The music is based on a lot of violence, and it should be based on peace and love. I mean, what's better than love? I mean, everybody's looking for love. And so, if that's the goal, then that should be the way the music should be structured. It shouldn't be structured ugly. I don't understand that. It's they say it's the language of you know, the ghetto. Of course, we can talk about the language in the ghetto in a peaceful manner. It still don't have to be violence, because you got little children that are looking up to you as examples, so they want to be like you. So if you're talking about love and for instance, like the song "We Are the World," song like "That's What Friends Are For."
Great songs.
You know, "Never Gonna Give You Up," "The Look of Love,"
Standards.
"Our Day Will Come." These are beautiful songs, man. I know that you can think of. I could think of millions of songs like in that category, and I refuse to leave that era. But now, if the music changes, which the music always changes, but I'll figure out a way to fit what I'm doing to the music. You know, like the song "Put Your Thing Down."
It kept coming
If
on.
you want to,
That's right.
if you really need some help, I will help you. Put your thing down. If you want to, if you really need assistance, I'll assist you. All of my life I've been watching you do the things you do so good. You know? So, and if you see a person doing something so good, and you want to help them. To be a legend mean you've lived a long time. I hope I haven't lived long enough. I want to live even longer.
Sure.
Be a legend.
That's right.
Even after I'm dead.
Yeah. And Rick James passed yesterday. That was very sad.
That was sad. That was sad. Yeah, I'm telling you, a friend of mine, John Whitehead.
What a shame.
You know, it's been a bad year for a lot of artists. In fact, the year 4000, a lot of people like Luther. Who else? Somebody else. Barry White. I think Phil Thomas passed before then.
Why do you think this is happening to all of these artists? I mean, all of a sudden it seems as if so many things, artists are passing and not feeling well, sick, and all of a sudden it just seems more rapid than the normal pace.
Well, so much is thrown. A lot of it has to do with stress. A lot of it has to do with stress, and a lot of it has to do with diet. When you're out on the road, you don't eat properly. You know, your blood pressure and stuff goes up, and you take chances that you normally wouldn't take if you were really thinking about, you know, your body and what you put in your body. You know, a lot of people take better care of their car than they do their body. To put like anything in their body. But when it comes to the car, they want the best gas, they want the best oil, they want the best treatment. And it's really a simple procedure to look and say, well, this is my vehicle here. Let me start putting some spring water in my body. Put no alcohol in my body. I bought some B12 here.
Never leave home without it.
Yeah, never leave home without the B12. I have this is ginger. This is ginger for the vocals. A lot of artists don't know about this. They think honey and lemon is the answer, but it really isn't. It cools it out, but ginger really. You know.
Man, what you witness is a legend with the capability to manifest and articulate the spiritual side of himself. That's lost with most of our entertainers. They physical, and some of them are mental, but they're not spiritual. The spiritual gives you that balance. And this man is talking like that today, but I'm telling you, I'm here to bear witness. At the age of 18, 19, he was talking like that back then. Mm-hmm. And I'm here to tell you that when there was charity to be given, he didn't go in his pocket, but he put in his time. He came for free, asked for nothing. And I'm quite sure a lot of them band members wanted to be paid, so he might have had went into his pocket. I didn't say anything about that.
I didn't see it.
But he came and put on a performance as if we was paying him 10, 15, 20,000. I saw a show one day. I keep repeating myself, but I want to reiterate it. I saw a show. It was the Manhattans. Now, if you know anything about Norfolk, rough crew. You got to be good. You can't just get on Symphony Hall and play and think Newark is going to applaud you.
Oh, no.
The Manhattans came out. They did good. And then here come Blue Magic. They did well. And here come the OJs now. When the OJs came on, Levert sung so strong that the crowd almost gave him a standing ovation.
Right.
Then right after them came Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes. And Teddy Pendergrass blew Eddie Levert off the stage.
Right.
And that's when Teddy Pendergrass was finally discovered as a vocalist that was unbelievable. So you thought that was it. And all of a sudden the curtains opened up and these young men flew their cape open and you saw the star and the crescent, and my God, nobody cared about Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes or the OJs, and the Delfonics took that stage, and that performance was just unbelievable. And that was the power of the Delfonics. And their way of singing sent messages through the airwaves that touched the soul of many youth and many adults, that allowed them to begin to love themselves, love one another.
Sure.
And you know, La La La, say I love you, they sing that right now today.
Yeah.
And the thing about it, I'm gonna tell the secret. See, back then, he was brought up kind of military. So when you brought up in the military way of thinking, there's no dancing. You know, you can't let mama and father catch you on the stage dancing. But he knew he had to move. So he came with that slow stuff, and he they don't know that wasn't something that he really wanted to do. It's something that he had to create in his mind to bring a new way of moving on the stage that no one could say he's actually dancing. And my God, did it catch on.
We literally set a trend. We were setting a trend then, being smooth and elegant.
Yes.
And it was the way to be, and it really still is the way to be. Being elegant and polite and gentlemanlike, to present yourself, wherein you're in a business wherein some people are going to like you and some people are not going to like you. You have to know that when you walk on that stage.
Today, I was happy as a lark, but now I go for walks, to the movies, maybe to the park, have a seat on the same old bench to watch the children play, You know, tomorrow's their future. For me, just another day. They all gather around me.
They seem to know what his name and what that was too, right now.
We laugh, tell a few jokes, but it still doesn't ease my pain. I know I can't hide from a memory, but day after day I try. I keep saying, she'll be back, but today again I'll ride. Whoa, I see her face everywhere I go, on the street and even at the beach.
Have you seen the Canada?
Tell me, have you seen her?
come again. Oh, I hear her voice as the cold winds blow on the street. Music on the radio. Is that you, baby? Come on, Canada, everybody sing. Come on. Why, oh, why did you have to leave? Oh, another day come to an end. We'll be looking for an email or something, or anything you may see. Shotlight's email address is CHI1111. That's at AOL.com. That's CHI1111. If you'd like to visit our website, that's shotlights.info. INFO. Shotlights.info. I want to know one thing. We got to make room for those super bad stylistics. Have you enjoyed yourself so far? Had a good time. If you enjoyed yourself, can I get everybody? Get up out your seats. Come on, put your hands together. Get on up if you enjoyed yourself. Get on up. Get on up. Get on up. Get on me. Get on me. Get on out your seat. Everybody, put your hands together. All right. Ladies, gentlemen, Casino Rama, the Shine Lights. Let's hear for Robert, Squirrel, Lester, Tara, Frank Reed, Marshall Thompson. Ladies and gentlemen, you have just experienced the experience of the Shine Lights. Frank Reed, Tara Thompson, Robert Squirrel Lester, Marshall Thompson. Yeah! Frank Reed, Marshall Thompson, Robert Squirrel Lester, they are the Shine Lights. Yeah! The Shine Light Band, let them know it. Woo!